Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Ask Dr. Reilly Show. You should know by now, my name is Dr. Anissa Reilly, and welcome to another episode in Season 2. Tonight's episode is a special episode. It's an episode about a little champion, a little princess, a little queen in training. So you need to sit back, relax, and enjoy the little queen as she's going to tell her story. Now, before I bring Little Miss on the stage, have you ever watched the news and seen parents talk about their loss, talk about how their child was taken from them? Where are the siblings? What have the siblings felt? What are the siblings thinking? They're not on the platform. They're not on the stage. The news is not giving them any news media coverage at all. But tonight, you are gonna hear from Miss Jada Robinson as she shares her story of loss, a loss of a sibling. So I want you to sit back, relax, and as I introduce Miss Jada Robinson. Come on, sweetie. Here comes my Little Miss Queen in training. Give me a hug. Wave to the camera. That's right, that's what queens do. Let me wave like this. Just like that, yeah. So please have a seat, sweetheart. Thank you for joining our show.
You're welcome.
Everyone, this is Jada Robinson. Jada Robinson, that is everyone. Say hello.
Hi.
So yes, that's what they do. Hi. So if you have teenagers, that's your hi, one word answers. And they say a whole lot in one word answers. But welcome, Miss Jada. Thank you for joining our show. So that everyone can get to know you, can you just tell a little bit about yourself? How old are you? Where you live? And what are you doing?
Okay. So I live in Queens. I'm 14 years old, and I'm speaking about like gun violence from a sibling's point of view.
Oh, so she's going to share with us gun violence from a sibling's point of view. But before we get to that, what are you into? What are your interests? What do you do? What school do you go to? Shout out your school.
I like playing basketball. I go to St. Francis Prep, which is a Catholic school in Queens. And I like dancing, yeah, that's it.
Oh, wait, dancing, can you like show me one move? Because you know, us old folks try to dance like the young folks, and I think I could do it. Can you show me one move? Like one chair move, let's do one chair move.
I don't know, I can do this.
Oh, wait. Not like that?
Yeah, like.
Oh, wait, I gotta put some respect on it. Did I do it right?
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Thank you. I just got the seal of approval from Miss Jada. Watch it. You're gonna see me on the dance floor doing that real soon. Don't copy. Don't try to copy. So you play basketball. What position do you play?
I play point guard.
What? You play point guard?
Yeah.
So tell me, as the point guard, how do you make sure you control the whole game? Because that's your job.
I have to practice the plays a lot. Like I have to study the plays, because like when I go up the court, I have to say the plays so that all the teams will go and do what I say basically. And then I just have to. I think it's about IQ or stuff. You just have to know where to get the ball so you can get more points.
Oh, she said it's about your IQ. So if you have an IQ that's high, then you could be controlling the whole thing because they have to listen to her. So all you 14-year-olds out there, all of you individuals out there, make sure you have a nice high IQ. I'm not a point guard, so I don't know if I have a high IQ. But I am a doctor. I do have my doctorate, so that counts for something, right? So, Miss Jada, you say you're from Queens,
Yeah.
You say you're 14, and you love basketball, so that's a wonderful, wonderful place to be and things to do. And so, the first question that I always like to ask my guests is, what does loss mean to you? It has to do with our theme, so what does loss mean to you?
When you lose somebody, I guess it means like you're missing something or something, and it could be hard to like move on with that. But you just like, it's not like you forget about them or something. It's like you just have to. It doesn't get better either. You just have to keep pushing forward, just without something that you had before.
Okay. So you lost something, and it means that you're missing a part of who you are. Is that the best way to say it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you gave me a couple of gems, but we're going to talk about the first gem that you just said in that, because that was a whole lot. 14-year-old wisdom. Watch out. So you said you lost someone. So today we're going to talk about someone you lost.
Okay.
So let's start off with, what is the name of the individual that you lost?
Her name is Deasia Robinson.
Deasia Robinson. We're going to put that in lights. Deasia Robinson. And who is Deasia Robinson to you?
That's my sister.
That's your sister. Is that your big sister, your little sister?
My older sister. She was 14, but now she's like 20 something.
So she was 14 when the situation happened. Let's not tell them yet, because we got to make sure they stay tuned.
Okay.
She was 14 when something happened. Now tell us something you remember special about Deasia. I'm gonna keep saying her name, Deasia.
I was younger, but I remember like she used to always do like school projects, and like you would pick like a family member. I remember like she would always do school projects on me. She would always take me where like she would go places with her friends. Like some siblings, they were like, I want to stay away from him. Like she would always take me. She went to the park with her friends. She would take me, like things like that. Okay,
so wait a minute. So I'm a baby sister too, right? And I have older sisters, so I know what it is to be the little sister and wanting to be with your big sister. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right? And so when your big sister or your older sibling is like, come on, you're like this.
Yeah.
I could go with you? Is that how you felt?
Yeah, it was like exciting. It was like I was around all the older people.
You're around the older people, so you gotta do it like this. Come on, like this. Can I go? Can you do that one? Can you do it with me? Can you do it with me? Can I go? So we are both little sisters, and so we're around the older people, and for your older sister to really want you to be around, I think that is absolutely amazing. Because sometimes my older sisters, they don't want me around. Now, I'm not an annoying little sister. I'm like, they just are older than me. So, do you remember some of the things that she enjoyed, like some of her favorite food?
She liked singing.
I'm just saying with me have been. I know your voice, I told you that lately. After me, you couldn't find better. Notice that your new girl ain't me. She ain't clean. Yeah.
I remember she always took pictures and videos, like everything she did. Like there's a million pictures, and yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. And did you have like a special name for her? Did you call her Dee Dee, Deasia, sis?
I think I called her like sister.
Sister?
I don't know why.
Okay. But no, because that's your sister. That's fine. All right, so we know that she loved to take pictures, so we have memories. She liked to sing. I'm trying. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. And she loved having you around. So we are now going to let the audience know what happened.
I feel like the people that need to be celebrated aren't. The people that are loving and helping people, and not for credit, but just because they really want to love, you know, they should be showcased. And not enough times are Black principles showcased.
When you make choices that are aligned to your values, everything goes in sync. And so you were committed to being vulnerable and open and asking questions. We had no choice as school leaders to jump in and to be there for you. The minute you opened the door and said, I need help, that's what started it. So your whole health is wealth and your whole therapy, all of that in healing our traumas, we have to learn that we're not raising our little selves. right? We're actually have an impact to make a difference. What are you manifesting? Because what you think about is what you become.
Right.
And that goes into mirrors, doors, and windows. We always have opportunities to either see ourselves, where we want to be, where we want to grow, and that imagination and that tool of resilience is what you're talking about. Because bad things do happen, but that's okay.
I consider myself a cool parent. I want being a cool parent to be the cool thing. You know, I want it to be considered aspirational, but I just know that if I hadn't been told a lot of things, I wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
I wouldn't know how to help my baby. And in helping my child, I'm helping myself because I'm spending time with him. You know, I'm learning things about him and about myself. You know, the things my child is doing, like swimming and floating for 3.5 minutes.
Using the potty.
Using the potty, at, like, you know, he started that at 4 months old.
Yeah.
I never
And
would.
talking.
Yeah, you know, he said daddy on Father's Day, right on time.
Yeah.
I would never have expected a child or a baby to have the ability to do these things. I wouldn't even try.
We are now going to let the audience know what happened.
Okay, so it was around 8 p.m., right? She was taking a bus back from a party, and then it was on Sufton in Queens. I don't know, like it was how many, I don't know how many people were there. She was with her best friend on the bus, and then outside the bus, it was like, I think 3 guys and 1 girl, whatever. But they were like playing around with guns or something, and they didn't mean to hit, like it wasn't like intentional, but they would let off like shots or whatever, and then they hit her in the back of the head, like going through the bus window, and then they killed her.
Okay, so that was a whole lot, so let's go slow.
Okay.
So it was 8 p.m. You know, when I was little, there used to be like this commercial that said, "It is 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?" But it was 8 p.m. and she was on the bus. So it was 8 p.m. She was coming back from a party, because you know, we like to party. You like to party?
Yeah.
Right, what's that dance move again? Oh, so we at the party. And she's riding on the bus with her best friend, doing what we do, going home. And there happened to be some individuals outside who were being reckless with guns, and in the process, a stray bullet hit your sister. And I'm gonna use your words because you let us know exactly where it hit her in the back of her head. And I know when we were talking, you said, you know, the paramedics tried to resuscitate her, bring her back to life, but unfortunately, her life was lost instantly at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah? And so let's talk about, so how did you find out?
When it first happened, I knew something was off because, so I was at my mom's friend's house, and she was supposed to be with us, but then she ended up going to the party. So then what happened was my mom got a phone call. Like my mom, like I never seen her cry before or nothing. And like she didn't cry, but she was just like, she gasped or something. And then I kept saying, what happened, what happened? And then they said like another 14-year-old girl got killed, but it wasn't my sister. And then they went into the room and they was like, oh, don't come in the room, not yet, or whatever. And then like 2 days later, she told me, but like I didn't have like a crazy reaction. I don't think I fully understood that I was like not gonna see her again.
Okay. Well, let's be clear. You two don't have the same mother. So that's why you hear her saying her mother, you know, reacted the way that she reacted, but you have the same father.
Yeah.
So that way we can all be clear, and that's how your sisters. So how old were you? Because want to make sure that the audience knows when she said she didn't have a clear understanding, why would she possibly not have a clear understanding? How old were you when?
I was 6, and I used to think that people could only like die from old age or something. So it was like, I was just confused, I think.
Oh, so what's old age?
Like when people were like I used to watch like cartoons and stuff, like you get 100 years old or something, then you pass away or something. Yeah.
So I mean, that's fair. I think a lot of 6-year-olds, when you're 6, you see TV or you see cartoons like you said, and you see old people with the gray hair and then they pass away. So only old people could die. And that's something a 6-year-old could understand and could attached to when we talk about death. And so that's why you didn't understand that you weren't gonna see her again, right? So you knew something was going on, you knew something was up, and then when you found out that your sister had wound up was in a situation that caused her to not be able to be seen by you again, what were your feelings? If you had to say, this is what I was feeling, do you remember?
I think when I first was like beginning to realize, I felt like helpless almost, because like I can't do anything at this point. It's like I don't know. And then I also felt like it was unfair, and I thought like it was, and a lot of times like I was like, oh, it's not real, because like on the news and stuff you see a whole bunch of deaths and stuff, but then like you never think it's gonna happen to you until like it does, obviously. And then I was just like shocked, I guess, at that point.
So you felt helpless, you felt shocked, and is this real? And you mentioned the news. So this tragic situation was all over the news, correct?
Yeah.
And so if anyone Googles it, they will see what happened to Deasia. So tell us about the news, because it was a big the media was all over. They covered this story really big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about that and talk about where you were in the picture around that.
On the news, like I would see a lot of times like her mother or my dad or like her aunts and stuff like talking on TV and stuff, and then it showed like the people, like the suspects or whatever the case is, because they didn't really know who did it, which has made it like a bigger thing for the media and stuff. And sometimes I used to be there like while her mother was talking or while my dad was talking, and I don't know, I just never like had the platform to like speak or anything.
Oh, you never had a platform to speak. So you were around, so mom and dad were talking, auntie was talking, and sister who went to the park, who hung out with Deasia, didn't have a platform. So how did that make you feel, or how does it make you feel to know that the media doesn't say to the siblings, hey, how about you? What are you feeling?
I feel like everybody's more like, I understand like it's a huge thing to like parents, because like you're my child, so like it's a different connection. But I feel like no one ever gets to hear from like the connection between a sister and a sister, especially when she's your older sister, because it feels like as if like she's my like cooler parent or something, like because she could take me off. I don't want to go somewhere, like she'll vouch for me in situations or something like that. So like it could be a different like thing from taking care of somebody and then having somebody like almost like raise you.
Well, let me pause you right there, because you just said a whole lot, right? You said cooler parent. So we all know that our siblings do sometimes become our cooler parent. And then you also said that she could vouch for you. So how many of y'all have siblings who vouched for you? Now, you know you were supposed to be in the house at a certain time and you didn't get home, but you told your brother or your sister, you got me? Yeah, that happened to you. So that's what you're talking about. So in a lot of ways, you and your sibling are closer than you are with your parents, right? And so what do you think the media should do when it comes to sharing stories or having families share their stories in such situations as these? What do you think they should do? Because, you were 6, yes, but what do you think you should do? What do you think they should do?
I think they should give everybody a chance to express how they feel, because they're only asking it from like one group of people or something, and like I feel like everybody's used to that now. They're gonna say, oh, it was my daughter, it was my son, it was so sad or whatever. But then like if you like, no one ever really gets to hear from like even if they were like really close with like their cousin or something, like it could just be like more like
a well-rounded view and perspective of the person.
Yeah.
So you're on this platform. So what is it that you would like? You could talk to that camera. What is it like? What is it that you would like the audience to know about when you are a sibling and you lose your sibling in such a tragic way?
I would say it's hard to move past it almost, And it feels like a lot of times, like as you're growing up, since I was younger, like it would be several instances. Like there was one time I was doing like a photo shoot thing, and it was these two girls and they were sisters, and I wanted my sister to be there because like they were all taking, and I was still young, I was like 7, and it's like, it was like hard seeing everybody else grow up and they would all have siblings and stuff, and knowing that I had like a sister and something. But then over time, I didn't like learn to forget it, but I just learned to live with it, which it's still, like, I still think about it and stuff like that, so yeah.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
So since you have memories and you have instances where you remember, so you know, in the world we call them triggers. So there's like little triggers that trigger the memory, that trigger the feeling, that trigger these moments, and you've learned how to not forget but to move on. Can you share with our audience, how do you do that? How do you move on? And you're only 14. There are some people who are like 44, like 58, 73, and they have not moved on. So what would you say? What advice would you give? How do you move on?
I feel like with anything, not even like with just death, you can't be stuck on a situation, because life goes on no matter, like even if you still are sad, life still goes on. So I still had school every day, still had to go to basketball. So like I'm not gonna sit there. I can't, like it's like a certain exception to it where it's like, okay, you can be upset because obviously that's your sister, but like. And like me for like my health, I don't want to just be sad all the time or mad all the time, like whatever feeling.
Wait, let me stop you right there. You said for your health, girl. take your glass. We gotta give cheers to that one. Okay. She's 14 years old, and she understands that her health is important. And she is not gonna let her being mad all the time, sad all the time, affect her health. You don't even know what you just said. You just helped a whole bunch of people in that one instance. Because there are some people, I'm telling you, that has allowed grief to bring them down, and they have diseases and sicknesses and illnesses because they won't let it go. Mm-hmm. All right, so keep going. So you made a choice. So what else could you say to help people? And
then listening. So you have to just like sort of cope with it, and that's how you're gonna be able to grow as a person. Because if you just stay stuck on every situation that happens in life, you're gonna run into a whole bunch of different things. So you just need to learn how to do that, like as a skill, not with big things, little things. You need to learn how to just cope with it and keep going.
So how did you cope? So what are some things that you did to cope?
At first I used to talk about it with everyone, and then later I used to I don't know, I used to like watch videos and look at pictures of us and just like remember how it is with us. And sometimes I would wish like, oh, I wish I could go back in time or whatever the case is. But then you realize like it doesn't make sense to sit there and be like, I wish, I want, I should have, because at that it's past tense. So it's like you just have to. I just kept going.
You sure you're 14 years old? Are you sure you're only 14? Because I'm sitting here going, that is true, that is all right. And that took me a long time to realize that, right? And so for you to grasp that at 14, High five. High five. Yeah. You better give her a high five through that camera, people. So, I know that you're doing some wonderful things with your information. What is it that you're doing? So, you went to film school.
Yeah.
Right, so what are you going to do with that? Are you going to do anything with your film school knowledge?
When I was younger, I really wanted to do film and stuff, or like be in the like TV, for, like the business or whatever. When I went to film school, it was really fun and interesting, and I feel like I would take that on, but I feel like I haven't I would want to try out for like each experience each position they have in the film business before I just decide on like which one makes the most money or which one looks the coolest. Like for me, like I want to see which one I like the best.
Well, let me tell you something, that is wisdom, because in this business, in the entertainment business, if you know how to do a whole lot of these people's jobs around here, if you look all around, you have the person on the audio, person on the camera, person on the mic, you'll always have a job. Because if you don't know how to do one thing well, then that's the only way you're gonna make money. But everybody's gonna need someone on the set doing something. So if you hone your skills, you'll make a lot of money doing that. So before we wrap up, just speak to that camera right there. And I want you to speak to all the little 14-year-old queens, all the little 14-year-old princesses, all the little 14-year-olds that are still inside of the 72 and the 73s and the 68s, and tell them that there is life after such violence.
Okay, I just want to okay, so after you go through something, your life will always continue, go on, and you should have, and if you stay in the past, then you're gonna miss so many experiences and fun moments, and you just have to keep pushing, and that's how you're gonna be happy. If you don't, yeah.
And last question, I want you to talk to government, because government has been really going down and having these conversations and these debates about gun violence. So if you were sitting at Congress, sitting at the table, testifying before Congress, what would you say to the government about gun violence?
I would say, I feel like so many people have guns for no reason and stuff, and then especially people who are just dumb with it, they just use in that situation, they were just shooting it for no reason at no one, and it was just pointless, and it just happened to be they shot somebody and now they're in jail. So I mean.
So in your case, those individuals who were reckless were caught, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they did find them, so they are being punished for their crime, and it's unfortunate. But I just want to say to you, Miss Jada, you are the champion that I knew you were when we first talked. You are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You are courageous, you are beautiful, you are brilliant, you have a high IQ, and you can dance. Thank you for showing me the dance. And so for all of you out there that have experienced violence in the way that Jada has experienced, all of you that have lost someone to gun violence, by a stray bullet or just by happenstance or on purpose, just know that there is life after the tragedy. Just push through, learn how to cope. Jada gave you some really great techniques, skills, some pointers on how to do that. So please take it to heart, because if this 14-year-old beautiful little princess, little queen can do it, so can you. So Miss Jada, it has been an honor talking to you. So if anyone wants to reach out to you, especially some 14-year-olds who may say, oh my gosh, there's someone like me out there, how can they get in contact with you?
My Instagram is Queen Captain J, and same as my Snapchat. It's spelled QUEENCAPTAINJAY.
See, I think I say she's Queen Captain J. That's your IG, and her Snapchat. I don't do Snapchat. I'm too old. I don't know. I don't even know what to do. But so if you want to reach out to Queen Captain J, reach out on IG, reach out on Snapchat. I'm gonna go old school. You got Facebook?
Yeah, I think it's JADA Wayda WAYDAA.
She said she thinks it. So
I don't use.
You don't have like Facebook, but do you tweet?
No.
Okay, just Snapchat and IG. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
She just left a friend's Sweet 16 party, but 14-year-old Deja Robinson never made it home. Police tell us she was an innocent victim killed by a stray bullet meant for someone else.
One thing is clear, she was not, in our judgment, the target of the shooting.
The friends of 14-year-old Deja Robinson say she was always the peacemaker, the friend who wanted to make sure everyone was happy. Police say she was sitting on the Q6 bus with another girl, waiting for it to start its route when the gunfire erupted.
She sits in the rear of the bus, just to the rear of the back door. And all of a sudden, shots ring out. We believe that at least 9 shots were fired. 9 shell casings were found on the ground, 40 caliber shell casings.
One bullet hit her in the temple and she was pronounced dead at Jamaica Hospital. Her friends, who gathered in grief on the street where she lived, are having a tough time with the sudden and unexpected loss of their friend.
She was happy. She was having fun. We was all dancing with each other. That's why it's kind of like it's so shocking. Like I was just with her, and then an hour later, after I left the party, I hear she's killed. Like it's just unexpected.
Deja Robinson's friends made this memorial image to her. Another tribute was set up at the bus stop on Sutphin Boulevard, where the wild shootout happened. They're all demanding an end to the senseless gun violence.
She's gone now, and nobody can do nothing about it, and nobody has answers or questions no more. Like, no more, she's gone, and that's it. And then everybody's trying to walk around here acting like they're okay. There's nothing okay about the situation.
You're running around shooting innocent people for nothing. Nothing.
Convicted killer Shamel Capers stood handcuffed and watched as the family of Deja Robinson spoke out in court. The innocent 14-year-old girl was hit with a stray bullet while she was on an MTA bus in Jamaica, Queens, just heading home from a Sweet 16 party 4 years ago.
The last 4 years, the worst 4 years of my life.
It was May 2013 when prosecutors say the then 15-year-old Capers and fellow gang member Kevin McClinton, who's now serving 40 years, opened fire at someone who flashed a rival gang sign. Bullets tore through the window of the Q6 bus on Sutphin Boulevard, mistakenly hitting Deja in the head.
Deja's a happy, spoiled little girl. Loving, she was so friendly, she was kind.
Deja's mother watched Capers maintain his innocence in court and offer a half-hearted apology.
I send my deepest condolences to the Robinson family. Once again, I'm truly sorry for their loss. I'm not a criminal. I've never been a criminal.
He's not innocent. 2 different witnesses in 2 different places said the same story about the same 2 criminals, that they both were at the bus shooting. And actually, Shamel Capers was the first shooter.
And tragically, the family says it was the first time they ever let Deja ride the bus on her own.
She called my wife and said, could she take the bus with her friends? 3 bus stops. Sure, it's still daylight outside. And look what happened.
This section of Sutphin Boulevard has now been renamed Deja Naquai Robinson Way. But unfortunately, that little girl will never get to celebrate her Sweet 16.
And she didn't make it. She didn't make it to 15.
Now Chanel Capers will do 15 years to life in prison. In Jamaica, Queens, Brian Coneybear, CBS 2 News.
Welcome to the Dr. Reilly Show.
Next time on Ask Dr. Reilly, Dr. Reilly sat down with author, motivator, and activist Dr. Jamila T. Davis to talk about when a trap queen's stuff imprisons her.
So instead of healing, right, instead of going through the grieving process, right, the correct way, I went chasing money. And that I did. I became a multi-millionaire by the time I turned 25 years old. I had entered the lane of the music industry. I had a lot of hip hop clients and I had a lot of sports figures that were my clients, and I was helping them get homes and credit and all of these different things. And long story short, I was driven, but I was driven by
again, wanting to be accepted, right? Wanting to be the cool kid, wanting to shine and show them that nobody would ever leave me again because I really got it going on. But inside I was broken because I was using materialistic things to really hide my insecurities.
And cover up
the wound, but not deal with the wound. So for me, I think it was God's encounter, like, okay, Miller, enough is enough. I was doing what I call prostituting my anointing.
I'm your host, Dr. Anissa Reilly.